Derek DeBoer. And I'm Brooke DeBoer. And these are our kids, Paige, Haylee, and Ryann. This is the Fastlife. I created it. Derek races, and I film. We are a family who live our dreams. It all seems like a blur when I reflect on the beginnings of Derek's racing journey with TRG Aston Martin. The most standout takeaway for me is how powerful strong relationships are, and how destructive negative relationships can be. Derek was willing to do the work, to be humble, and to help for nothing. All the while, he held high hopes that he would have a real chance to prove himself.
I mean, I'd probably had like 20 or 30 proposals go out to other companies and places that, by then that I thought was a great idea. We had our Kickstarter campaign and all these things that in our head made total sense and didn't work.
It's race day here at the TRG Aston Martin 10, and I just can't tell you how excited I am to work with these guys next year. These cars and this team are just absolutely confidence inspiring. I know at any given time I can go out with these guys and be fast.
I acted as Derek's barometer and sounding board. My intuition about people came in handy too. But sometimes, even with these tools at work, you have to endure bumps in the road. After several tests with the team, races, a failed Kickstarter campaign, plane tickets to race headquarters, and lots of work, team owner Kevin Buckler introduced Derek to a sponsor. He will remain nameless for reasons you will understand later. A contract was signed to sponsor Derek for his first full season of professional sports car racing in the Pirelli World Challenge Series.
The phone call from the sponsor came before Daytona was even a part of the conversation, and I'll never forget it. I was in my office at work, and he called and we were chatting about options of running in Pirelli World Challenge or doing some more of the IMSA races that we had done together the previous season. And just midway through the conversation, he goes, "Let's just do it. You're in, I got this." Going back to sales skills, let's ask some questions and make sure he says what I really thought he said. And I was like, "What do you mean we got this?" He says, "You're in, full season sponsorship, I got it handled." And it was like, in my head, I think I still had it built up how sponsorships are supposed to work and how it's supposed to go, and that felt like what the script was I had in my head, and I was like, well, here we go, this is amazing. This is, I guess, how professional racing works. I just got the call. It felt too easy. With the full season handled, as Daytona got closer and the Roar, which is the required test that you have to do if you're a rookie and haven't run the race before, I got the call from Kevin. And some of Kevin's big brother advice, as usual, as I get, "Derek, you really need to figure out a way to get out here for the test at least, because if you don't do it, there's not even a chance of you being in the race." And he knew how important it was to me. So, between him and I, we came up with the deal to at least get me to the test, kind of justifying it as it was going to be a great experience no matter what happened and how it went. I took my dad out there with me to the test, and that was a really fun time to get to have him seeing me at this level now. Just even showing up there and running in the GT3 Aston Martin was like, I was pinching myself to see if this was really happening. We were quick, and I was meeting all the potential co-drivers that Kevin was also kind of vetting. Kevin was trying to get the program together for TRG that year and didn't have the first drivers committed yet. He had a pretty good list of what he thought was going to happen. And that was when Kevin and I got on the phone with my PwC sponsor to kind of test out the waters to see, hey, we're doing this over here for this full year, but do you want to maybe start the season out by doing Daytona? Again, it was just like the phone call in my office, and he just goes, yeah, let's do it. I wanted to call everybody and announce to the whole world that I was going racing full time.
This weekend, Derek DeBoer will compete in the Rolex 24 race at Daytona International Speedway. It's a 24-hour endurance race that starts on Saturday and ends on Sunday. In a sense, it's a marathon, much like Derek's racing journey. Newswatch 12's Brandon Cameraman explains how a little encouragement inspired Derek to make his dream come true.
Derek DeBoer's life took a turn 16 years ago when he took a chance on something he always wanted to do but never did.
I had a pretty late start to my racing life. It was something that I dreamt of doing as a kid.
But racing cars never seemed practical to Derek. He's the general manager at TC Chevrolet in Ashland. He's married, now with 3 daughters. But early in his marriage, he told his wife, Brooke, about that dream.
Derek shared with me early on many stories about burning holes in his tires, ripping down the driveway in his Hot Wheels or whatever wheeled item he had to drive at that time.
Our family lives and breathes cars, that's for sure. You know, everything from, you know, our livelihood and our work and what we're around to what we get excited about.
Derek used to watch his father drag race, and that's where his love of racing started.
When Derek first told me that he wanted to be a race car driver, I didn't necessarily push him to do it. I just said, okay, let's sign you up for a class and see how that goes.
Right from the beginning, Derek raced like he'd been racing his whole life, and eventually, he started setting more realistic goals.
I want to race in the Rolex 24-hour. I want to take this racing all the way to the professional level and do it at the top. And the dominoes just kind of started tipping over, and here I find myself racing in this year's Rolex 24-hour and a full season contract for the rest of the season.
It didn't seem practical 16 years ago. Now his dream is turning into reality, which doesn't surprise Derek or Brooke.
There was very much a thought and a feeling and a desire of, I can do that. I know I can race against those guys, and I know I can do it at that level.
My parents always read that book to me, The Little Engine That Could. You know, I think I can, I think I can.
Brooke sees that little engine that could in Derek, only driving a much bigger engine.
It really feels surreal. It doesn't really feel like it's actually happening. It's amazing, and I'm so proud of him.
She also said it's now more than just getting out on the track. He can win this one. For Newswatch 12 Sports, I'm Brandon Cameraman.
Everybody's response was, you know, congratulations, this is clearly what you're supposed to be doing, like this is going to be such an amazing year for you. My parents might have been concerned that it was going to, you know, take me away, and you know, business-wise, I'm sure there's people concerned of, oh great, how's Derek going to be able to manage this? After the call was a lot of the exciting details. It was like the stuff that I had built up in my head that you now get to do as a pro racing driver and planning your season. You know, it was talking about what colors the car are going to be, what's the livery going to be, what's the press release going to say, when are we going to do that? You know, all those fun little parts that kind of came along with it. Rolling into Daytona, you know, for race day, I don't think it matters who you are or what you're doing. I mean, it's very clear, and it feels very much like you're in the big leagues. You know, the place is massive, the crowd is there, the energy is there, and it just had this amazing high energy, like I've made it to the top level of sports car racing, and now there's a job to be done. The dream was coming alive right then and there, and not only was it coming alive, but it was my first moment really stepping into the big leagues, and now it's time to go do work. Lots of kind of big monetary promises were coming from the sponsor as well. Like, not only are you going to get funded to do this season, but you know, I've got ideas for more sponsorship that's going to come in, and you're going to be making a salary, you're going to be paid. And it was like, my smile went from here to here to here. You know, it's like, wow, this is really legit. I'm going to be a paid professional racing driver. And of course, there's the little parts in the back of your head going, is this too good to be true? Is this happening too easy? Is this happening too quickly? But then there was the parts that you're saying, I've worked really hard. I've checked off all the boxes, and this is how it's supposed to go. So this is how it's going.
Driving with Derek's awesome. Known Derek for 2 years. This is going on the second year. This year we're going to be teammates for the whole year, so it's going to be the best way we can start our year off. And we're in company of a legend, Chris Wilson, and another legend, Eliseo Salazar. So we're going to have a great 24 hours. It's going to be awesome.
I'm excited to run with Derek and be with these guys all year as well in World Challenge. I'm hoping that they'll teach me a few things since I've been teaching Max some things over the years, but he's starting to teach me. So Derek's probably going to do the same thing.
We missed qualifying because Chris broke the car in practice.
I always break the car.
But no, it's really not a big deal that we missed qualifying. Starting at the back in this race is no problem, so we can kind of watch all the carnage happen in front of us and be smart, make it through the first lap. And it's a 24-hour race, so it's really irrelevant where you start.
But Max is still going to go like hell from the start, so.
It would have been nice to qualify, but it's not a problem.
Very excited to get it started. We've got some inclement weather, and it's supposed to get better throughout the day, but paired up with a bunch of experts and a couple legends, as they've proclaimed. And
a legend in her own mind.
Something like that. We're ready to go.
I just want to quickly welcome you to kick off the 2015 season to the Rolex 24 at Daytona.
I have on my wrist here a Rolex Daytona, a talisman for anybody who can get one, and I have a whole box of these for the winners. So drive fast, drive safe.
It's one of the finest tracks for me, especially for 24 hours. It's not overloading you, which was too much physical pain, like in Le Mans sometimes, but it's good. And I wish you all good luck, and it's great. And thanks to Rolex, who sponsors it since so many years. I think it's absolutely fantastic.
It's become strengths, and that's how you guys have to think. This is chess, not checkers, and it's a complicated, long process of making sure that continually, over the course of 24 hours, the number one thing you guys do is make the right decisions.
We got there at about 6, so the first thing we did is we went out to a nice dinner, and then the next day we went to the racetrack. Pretty early. I remember at the racetrack there were a lot of crowds. It was a little bit overwhelming with the crowds, but it was still a really fun trip.
It's time to introduce to you the starting field of this 53rd running of this most prestigious event, the Rolex 24 at Daytona. Now let's welcome up, starting in 52nd position, drivers of the 009 Aston Martin, the beautiful sounding and looking V12 Vantage for the Racers Group, Aston Martin Racing North America, Derek DeBoer, Brandon Davis, Max Riddle, Chris Wilson, and a legend in sports car racing, Eliseo Salazar.
So at Daytona, I had the privilege of driving the Aston Martin V12 Vantage, which is just a super amazing, proper racing car. It's a V12 engine capable of 780 horsepower when it's unrestricted. At a track like Daytona, we'll approach speeds somewhere in the neighborhood of 180 plus miles an hour. And it was really my first time, other than testing, getting to drive a car of that level.
Hey everybody back home, thanks for watching and supporting. Cheer us on, 009 moving up to number 1.
Quite simply, this is a race that every driver wants to compete in. I'll guarantee you right now, sitting at home watching our TV screens, is the fact that some drivers would love to be here. Star drivers from various disciplines want to be on that grid here today. It's iconic in stature, and it kicks off the road racing calendar in the United States in the best possible way. There are lots of star power on that grid today, but also some non-professional drivers, guys who maybe just had a dream and a passion to be here one day. Well, that day has come.
I was still a little bit nervous.
What were you most nervous about?
If like the car broke or something. We were there from dawn until dusk, and basically what we did the whole time is Papa Al and GB normally watched over us because Dad was normally in the car and Mom was always in pit lane. So Papa always had his headset on, listening to what they were saying to Dad. and sometimes we also listened, and then we normally got to watch him race.
I was strangely confident at that moment in time for the race. And looking back at it now, seeing what a big event it is, how lucky I was just to even be there.
Meet Derek DeBoer, and I'm Brooke DeBoer. And these are our kids, Paige, Haylee, and Ryann. This is the Fastlife. I created it. Derek races, and I film. We are a family who live our dreams.
I had never even done, a full-speed driver change, in a real race car until practice that weekend. And to have it all gone as smoothly as it did is really, it shows how great the team is and what they do, and what a good group of teammates I had.
My first stint at the 24 Hours Daytona 2015, and it went really well. There was no problems, no mistakes. We got a penalty for a paperwork problem, and we didn't file before the start of the race, so that sucked. We went down 2 laps, we got 1 lap back. Now my teammate Derek's in the car, and I think he's going to do a really good job, and we're looking forward to it. It's a good start to the day.
Well, a 24-hour race is all about strategy and having a plan. And our team owner, Kevin Buckler, has so much experience at that race. I think that's where a lot of that confidence came from going into it, even as green as I was going into a race like that. So we have a lot of conversation about what to expect. And a lot of it wasn't much different than the strategy that Kevin and I have had for my whole racing career with him so far. It was staying inside your box, taking baby steps towards working, towards the end result. We knew we weren't, the class favorite to win. We were starting at the back because we missed qualifying for an issue that we had. We knew that the only way that we were going to move forward and have a chance was to be smart, stay out of trouble, keep the car going, and have smooth driver changes, and just, like I said, stay within our box. And that was what we did. We did that the whole race. I am really good at sleeping on command, so sleeping during a race like this isn't too hard of a task for me. The part that's a hard task is like fearing that you're going to miss out on something. But you also know what an important job that you have, and it's communicated really clearly. Drivers, we are expecting you to be 100% when it's your turn to get in the car. So, the strategy is you get out of the car, you go get something to eat, you go back to the motorhome and rest.
I just got done with my first double stint of the race in the middle of the night, and it was a handful. Again, there's so much traffic and such great drivers and people really taking chances. I really tried to just keep it in one piece and hand it over to our F1 star Eliseo Salazar and let him go do some work now.
You so badly want to be, on the radio. Kevin even tells us, no cell phones when you go back to the bus. We don't want you guys sitting there tuning into what's going on. They have people to come get us and get us to where we need to be when we need to be there. So they try to take as much off your plate as they can. And I think it's part of why they've had so much success there. Yeah, so the 007 car actually got involved in a pretty big wreck that really ended their chance of a good result. And that happened while I was in the car. I think Brandon Davis was driving the 007, and coming into turn 6, all of a sudden I see sparks and all kinds of stuff happening, and I can see there's 2 cars involved, and as I go by, I can see that it's, you know, our other team car.
Race is on the line. It's obviously on his side. How can you not see us coming in there? We're running for the lead. My God. Brandon had a great drive. Christina was going to get back in. You know, we had a good shot here. That's just ridiculous. I don't know if he's been here before, but they got to be real careful and stuff like that. That was just no excuses. No excuses. We're all really, really heartbroken. We worked for a year for this.
To see them taken out was a bummer, and it also just pointed out how it can happen just like that. It can be out of your control. You can be doing everything right and have another car creep into you and your day. Every 24-hour race is going to be riddled with problems of some sort. And we had some electrical gremlins that just, you know, came up with maybe about 6 hours to go. I think it was in one of my later stints in the dark, and the car would shut down, and you'd have to recycle the ignition and get the car restarted, and then it was like nothing ever happened. So, you know, I remember, you know, Kevin on the radio, just keep doing what you're doing, nurse it through, be patient. And it really just shows the maturity and the level of the drivers that we had, you know, the coaching from the team owner to walk you through something like that, because that can be a really big panic situation. And it was about the last 6 hours of the race. It was just a issue that we had to deal with. There wasn't a way to fix it. You know, certainly the team and engineering were troubleshooting, but it ultimately just came down to we had to restart the car every once in a while in the middle of the lap. So most of the time when this was happening, I think from the outside, you wouldn't even know, other than maybe wondering, you know, why did 009 all of a sudden lose pace? Like, didn't he just pass that car and now that car is going past him again? Like, what's going on? So most times it would happen, and I would just simply, you know, restart while I was rolling and, you know, maybe just lose some momentum. There was one period where we had to come to a complete stop, and, you know, that cost us some time and had to recycle. It's for whatever reason, I can't really remember exactly why and where, but yeah, we had to come to a complete stop and sort it out, but ultimately got the car started again and continued and finished the race. Had that not happened at all, I wonder where we really would have finished. And we just kept moving forward and moving forward and moving forward. And, you know, all the way towards the end of the race, all of a sudden we're sitting, you know, in P10. And I remember, like, wow, are you kidding me? Like, a top 10 finish in the first try at the 24 Hours of Daytona, that in itself is pretty big. Just finishing a 24-hour race is big. You know, we all go into it saying, I want to win. I've got an expectation that we can win, or to be on the podium. But then when it really comes down to it, and you know what went into that 24 hours, and you're 23 hours and 40 minutes into it, and seeing yourself moving, you know, in the top 10, it was huge. And, you know, ultimately we just kept moving forward, and we finished 8th place, and what was my first attempt at the 24 Hours of Daytona. That felt like a mini victory in itself.